Today I invite you to come along with me on a trip to the English countryside where we will discover a Roman villa. If you are following along with my Claudian invasion series, this is one of the sites most certainly occupied by Vespasian's Second Augusta Legion on his sweep of the south. So sit back, relax, and follow me into the past. Littlecote Roman Villa is a lovely riverside site that saw activity and development from the 1st to the 18th centuries. Situated on the grounds of a 16th century Elizabethan estate of Littlecote House, Littlecote's mosaic was first discovered whilst drilling for garden post holes in 1727. The villa itself was formally excavated between 1978 and 1991, revealing, as many Roman villas do, many modifications over several centuries, during which the occupants were likely successive generations of the same family. As we walk through the giant oaks that now pepper the landscape here, we see that to the west are the foundations of a large residential building with a 330-year history. After the Claudian invasion of AD 43, it seems likely that a military base was established to protect the river ford along the Roman road. But by AD 70, they had been replaced by a native community who built timber roundhouses. In the early 2nd century, rectangular timber-framed buildings were constructed to form the beginnings of the villa. In the latter half of the 2nd century, the timber buildings gave way to the first stone farmhouse on the site, comprising a bath suite and a detached smokehouse for curing meats and fish, as well as bronze works. Here we can see the radial hypocaust. It looks very interesting from any angle. There are also some ovens in the large kitchen facilities and a well out the back. Over the next 100 years, several modifications were made. In 240, a barn and workshop replaced the smokehouse, and in 270, the house underwent major reconstruction. The baths were demolished, and a new bath complex was built on the southern end of the villa site, complete with hot and warm baths, tepidarium, caldarium, and laconium, or room for dry heat. The pili of the hypocaust can be seen here, as well as some of the blue bath tiles and stoke holes. Returning to the west building, the well was filled in and covered by a new wall for a courtyard, and the hypocausts and Pryfernium, the Roman underfloor heating system, were filled in and replaced by solid flooring. The house and its outer corridors were rebuilt on a grander scale, including flanking towers and beautiful mosaic flooring. By the 4th century, the villa had undergone a change to a more formal residence. The south tower of the residence house was enlarged, and a stairway to a first-floor veranda constructed. In addition, a grand gatehouse and second residence building were constructed. On the eastern side is the entrance to the villa, a row of buildings that form an early 4th century gatehouse, said to have been the most impressive gatehouse yet found in any British villa. There were triple arches that were flanked by 2 towers and 2 small rooms on the ground floor. Structural evidence of the scale of this gatehouse lies in the foundations of great buttresses flanking the front and rear corners. Adjacent to the gatehouse is a long corridor with post holes, which is thought to have been the stables. The site on the river saw perhaps the most development over the years. Beginning as a native roundhouse, the building became successively a bakery, a brewery, a workers' lodgings, and in the renovations of 360, most of it was demolished and a remarkable structure was built containing a decorated entrance hall, or narthex, leading to a private paved courtyard. From the antechamber to the right on the riverside was a newly enlarged bath suite, including 2 heated rooms, a hot bath with hypocaust, and a cold plunge bath with a white mortar floor. To the left of the antechamber, steps led up to a striking hall with a triple apsed room, a triconchos, unique in all of Britain. The mosaic in these rooms is truly intriguing, and the room's purpose has sparked insoluble scholarly debate. I will go into this in a little more detail, but first, let's have a closer look at the mosaics. Uncovered in 1728, the mosaic suffered various damage in the intervening centuries until excavations in 1978 found what had been presumed lost. Parts have been repaired with the help of a tapestry, now in the Ashmolean Museum in Oxford, depicting the intact mosaic as it was discovered in the 18th century. The rectangular room features geometric designs flanked by sections depicting sea beasts and panthers, either side of chalices. The second room is surrounded by 3 semicircular apses featuring scallop shell motifs. The central figure is that of Orpheus, musician and priest of Apollo, the sun god, wearing a Phrygian cap. Usually depicted with the animals whom his harp charms, there is only one animal with him. Surrounding the Orphic figure, in the 4 quadrants, are 4 goddesses representing the 4 seasons, dancing before various running beasts, which have been interpreted as animal transformations of Zagreus Bacchus, son of Zeus, when he fled from the Titans. Thematic interpretation points to the imagery of birth, death, and resurrection prominent in Greco-Roman art. Roger Wilson remarks on the common proclivity of Romano-British depictions to conflate gods and demigods when remarking on the similarity of this Orphic figure with Apollo, who also played a lyre and was associated with the 4 seasons. design of the triconcus first appears in townhouses in North Africa in the late 3rd century, and is a design that soon afterwards found its way to Sicilian and Italian country villas to become fashionable throughout the late Empire. The differing theories on the purpose of this room divided into 2 main schools of thought. One theory is that it is a dining room with decoration similar to other Orphic mosaics in Britain. The semicircular dining couches popular in the late Empire have been linked to this theory, as well as the location next to the river providing a cool place for summer dining. However, the location of this dining room is not consistent with the planned dining rooms that would normally have been built. These would usually be planned with a garden or landscape vista, which would not be possible in this construction, with no place for a large window and no view. The main house in the western buildings had the principal dining room in this villa and was well serviced, as well as having an open view to the garden. Another, and perhaps more intriguing theory, is that the villa had been remodeled to make a rural collegium for the late Roman elitist society of the followers of Orpheus and Bacchus, Neoplatonist cult that followed a philosophical code venerating Bacchus as the deity who promised everlasting life to his followers. If I were to pick one of these theories, I would say that the latter sounds very plausible, as anyone who would have traveled or would have been in contact with someone who had traveled might have wanted to follow the architecture or emulate the architecture in other parts of the empire that were seen as more prosperous and possibly more elite. Also, Orphic cults, or any kind of cults, were the Roman equivalent of a gentleman's club, and I don't see that clubs today differ that much from what Roman society would have been, and certainly life in Britannia wasn't that different. There also would be a perfect way for someone living in the country to entertain their collegium by giving them their own place for having baths, dinner, and speaking of philosophy. So I don't think it's as far-fetched a theory. Secret Gentleman's Elite Club. Let me know what you think. I hope you've enjoyed this short tour of Littlecote Roman Villa. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments. And I hope that you will come with me on some more tours. In the meantime, be very good to yourself, be kind to others, relax, have a beautiful, beautiful day,